What's up, YouTube? Figured I finally do my first video on here face to face, so to speak. Give a little introduction to myself. My name is Billy Pearson, and I plan on doing a bunch more videos. I've been holding off for a little while now. Kind of got a little bit of a stage fright. Not very big on doing public speaking or anything like that, which is kind of odd because I'm only talking to my camera. But anyhow, I drive tractor trailer. Been doing it for, well, I got my license 6 years ago in July of 07. I graduated from NTTS, National Tractor Trailer School, up in Liverpool, New York. At the time, I was living up in Oswego. Technically, I was living in Fulton, up by Oswego, New York. Lived there for a couple of years until things went sour, but I'll get to that. When I graduated tractor trailer school, I went and started working for Lowe's. There was a store there in Camillus, New York. Worked there for probably only a couple months, if that. The only reason I went for that job was I was waiting for my youngest daughter to be born, which may not be my youngest daughter. We'll find out in a couple months here, since I'm expecting another. That'll make 5, but big family. Didn't really grow up in that scene with a big family. I only got one younger sister. Anyhow, once my daughter was born, I went on and started working for Swift Transportation. Drove for them for just shy of 2 years. I started out with my trainer, went on to become a solo driver, moved on, became a trainer, and then I finished up with my last student. I kicked him off the truck down in Texas. He decided he was going to take the shuttle down to Mexico, which I couldn't blame him. I would have done the same thing if it was earlier in the day and we had the hours and didn't have to leave the next day, but you know, we're out here to make money, and that's what it comes down to. Needless to say, he came back whatever time in the morning that he got back. We were supposed to be ready to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. We were down in Texas, so chances were that we weren't going to have a load to get out of there. But we had to be up and be ready for it, just in case. So whatever time he got back in the morning, he decided to pull my alarm clock apart, and I woke up an hour late, seeing that my alarm clock was sitting on the dash where I put it, and followed by the battery and the battery cover. So lost my temper a little bit, yelled and screamed at him, told him to get his stuff and get off the truck. From there I went over to Phoenix, Arizona, and I became a lease driver. Did that for about 6 months and ended up getting terminated by Swift. I had 2, in their eyes, preventable accidents. I had a minivan that ran a red light and hit the nose of my truck, and 2 weeks after the fact, I had a pedestrian that was walking down the middle of a 4-lane, 65-mile-an-hour, no-access highway. About 10 o'clock at night, cloudy night, in a very wooded area where I couldn't see him until I got right on him, especially considering the fact that he was wearing dark clothing. But he was walking right down the middle of the lane and ended up hitting him with the side of the sleeper. Didn't kill him, but it did put some mental stress on me. I would imagine if you're intentionally trying to kill somebody and did, or almost came close to doing so, it would be a different story. But an accident like that, almost killing somebody and hurting them really badly, whether it was my fault or not, which in my opinion it wasn't, and in the cop's opinion it wasn't, and in the investigator's opinion it wasn't, but in Swift's it was. Anyway, that's all over with. I stood around waiting for my truck to get released for a couple weeks, and finally Swift told me I was terminated. Of course, they didn't quite do it the right way. I was told I can come in and use a company truck until their investigation was over, and then I can get my truck back. And when I got there, they decided to tell me I was terminated after my ride had already left and got halfway home. Anyway, I took off for about a year after that. I wanted to make sure I was mentally fit to get back behind the wheel and not have to worry about losing my mind. And once that year was up, I started working for a company called Webster Trucking out of Chester, New York. Did local stuff. It was a day cab. We ran New York City, Long Island. Well, it's when I started, it was Long Island, some in New Jersey, southern New Jersey, and then they started doing Connecticut runs, and then they started doing the 5 boroughs in New York City, which I jumped right on that. I liked the challenge, and they paid an extra $35 to go into the boroughs. So I made pretty good money doing that, and then I decided to try out life down in North Carolina, which loved the people, loved the cheap cost of living down there, but it just wasn't home and it wasn't family. But in the time that I did live down there, I worked for Western Express for about 5 months. I did 3 months flatbed, and I did 2 months dry van. I had ended up pulling something in my back or pinching a nerve or something, and I couldn't lift the tarps or anything, let alone barely walk. Sitting and driving was fine, but getting out was a challenge. So anyway, I moved back up to New York. I started working for Webster again. Worked for them for a little over a year. I went right back to pulling the 5 boroughs, and then I went to yard jockey. Did yard jockey for quite a while, with doing some runs down at the boroughs in Long Island, and every once in a while. Did that for a while, and then found out that JB Hunt was coming in to take over the account. And I really didn't want to work for another large company like that. So I ended up putting some applications in and stuff, and I heard TMC was a pretty good company. And aside of their slow 62-mile-an-hour trucks, which I can't stand, but the pay's pretty good, and I get home every week. It's not quite getting home every day like I was with the running local, but running local, I was getting home, eating dinner, going to sleep, and only had 2 days off. And with on the road like I am now, I get 2 days off. I just don't sleep in my own bed every night, so I'm not really losing that much. I would like to get back to the point where I'm home every night, but that's down the road a ways. I recently moved over to Pennsylvania and had already started working for TMC. I've been here now for about 6 months, and I'm really enjoying it. I like it as a company driver, and but I'm probably not going to be sticking around for too long. I definitely want to get my own truck, and I think once tax time comes around next year, I'm going to go do so. And hopefully build up a pretty good business. Anyhow, right now I'm sitting over in Jersey at a rest area. I got about 23 miles to go to get to my delivery in the morning over in Brooklyn. And I'm going to shoot a little quick video going over the Guanos and the Verrazano down the BQE, and probably stop it just before I get off the exit. But I hope you guys will enjoy that video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions or anything, shoot me a comment, and hope you enjoyed.